Good afternoon. So I want to tell you very shortly about two labs that I have. So two kind of research areas. Both of them are related to machine learning. One of them is focusing on robotics control, and we use reinforcement learning to train the controllers. And the other one is on brain-machine interfaces, which is kind of I thought to say it's different, but really it's really very well related to the other topics that we just heard. So brain-computer interfaces will measure the neural activity in the brain activity in one method or another, and I'll tell you in a second what we're doing in my lab. Then we interpret the measurements, try to understand simple things about what the person wants to do, then send comments to the external world. So in my lab, we are using machine to measure the neural activity in the brain. We use so we measure from 64 different electrodes. So each colored race is a different electrode. And we use a lot of signal processing and machine learning, some classifiers, to do some interpretation, classification of what the person is thinking, something simple like right hand or left hand. So is it thinking or imagining moving the right hand or imagining moving the left hand, and then we can operate prosthesis hands, or in this case, like an animated hand. So, or we can drive a robot and other things. Okay, but I want to show you this simple application that we already did, and then focus on the main issue that we are investigating. So I'll show you okay. So the main point is the classification. There is a lot of errors because while we are thinking about, let's say, moving the right hand or the left hand, there are other thoughts in our brain at the same time. So the classifier may misinterpret what the person wants to do. The error rate is kind of high, 20%, 30% error rate. So what we want to do is try to see how we can reduce this error rate. And the method that we're approaching is to use the fact that when the person sees whatever the device that he controls does different things, there is an error activity in the brain. We are processing this error activity in the brain, and we can detect what's known as error-related potentials in the brain. Then once we have those error-related potentials, we understand the person that what we did was wrong. And the main point that we're trying to do is try to understand what is the right thing to do. Okay, so I'll show you okay, so we investigate self-correcting brain-computer interfaces. So we develop brain-computer interfaces that can correct themselves by detecting those error-related potentials. And now we have a new project with brain space to improve human training by monitoring also the error-related potentials. But I'll focus on the issue of the brain-computer interfaces with self-correction. So this is the application I showed you before. This is a very short movie showing when the interface made an error, understand that it's an error, and correct itself. So the movie is very short, so I want to explain first what we're doing. So in order to let the person know what he's supposed to do, and for us to know what the person is supposed to do, we have those two colored balls. If the ball turns red, the person has to open the hand. If it's green, it should close it. So yeah, so the right ball turned red by mistake. The left hand opened, the BMI, the brain-computer interface, misunderstood the activity, opened the left hand, but as the hand started to open, we detected the error-related potential in the brain. We understood that this is an error, and we closed the hand and opened the other hand. So I'll show you again. So the right ball turns red by mistake. The system opens the left hand. The system realizes that there is an error, then closes his hand and opens the other hand. Now, what we did is it's not very simple because it's not like there is only two commands. If there is only two commands, once you understand that there is an error, you close this hand and you do the other thing, right? But because we knew that this is a very, very simple, we actually had 3 commands. Left hand, right hand, or do nothing. So it could have been that the color would not change at all, or that the person does not have to think about any change. So in this case, we understood there is an error, and we understood that the error is that the other hand should have been moved rather than do nothing. Okay, so the other, I want to talk about the other issue, which is robotic control. So this is just a motivation to see that there is a lot of robots in the industry, but still there is a lot of manpower in the industry, mainly doing a lot of assembly tasks. Whenever we need a lot of, we have contact to reach tasks, but there is a lot of interaction between the robot and the environment. In most cases, we still use people to do those tasks. So what we're developing is a system that we capture the knowledge from control engineering and from control, theory that we developed so many years. We use this knowledge to select the proper controller, and in this case, we use admittance control, which is a very good controller to when we want to interact with the environment. I will just kind of briefly say that humans use admittance or impedance control to control their hand. It can have very large impedance, very large stiffness, which is low impedance, and the hand will not move at all, and the hand can have very low impedance, and the hand will easily be moved. So it can control the impedance or the admittance of the system. And we learned the actual admittance that is best suited for the task using reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning. So I will just show a few examples. So we extended it to have different subtasks, and here we search what we developed. Okay, so we learned a single controller that can manage different assembly of different connectors, and we learn in simulations. And the very known problem in reinforcement learning is what's known as sim to real, the transfer from simulation to real problems. But because we use impedance control, again, I can explain it better if we talk in person, and then this control is very easy to transfer the parameters from the simulation to the real environment. So again, we are looking for good students for both labs. In the robotic lab, we move now from assembly task, from industrial assembly task to robotic surgery, and working on robotic suturing. So my current student, Tono Sela, is working with it. And in the BCI, we have a very big project with the Mafat and the American DoD to control 5 commands instead of just the 3 commands that I was talking before. And as I said before, we have a new project with BrainSpace to do training. Thank you.